Heather Slesser here with the University of Wisconsin-Madison, Division of Extension. Today, I am joined by Joy Kirkpatrick from the Center for Dairy Profitability. Joy is going to speak with us about the fact sheet entitled Paycheck Protection Programs. Could you tell us what the Paycheck Protection Program is?
So the Paycheck Protection Program, or sometimes it's called PPP or P3, is a potentially forgivable loan program stemming out of the CARES Act. And it's basically an idea of providing about 8 weeks of payroll and a few other costs to small businesses. And it's a way to keep businesses running that have employees, and those employees don't have to go on unemployment. So
Who is eligible for the Paycheck Protection Program?
any small businesses with fewer than 500 employees are eligible, and that's including farms. They are eligible if they have employees. They are potentially eligible if they do not have employees, but they have to be able to cover some of their own income, but they have to have shown a profit in 2019 to make that a possibility.
What costs are covered under the Paycheck Protection Program?
Obviously, payroll costs are going to be covered, so that includes wages, and it can include benefits such as paid leave, healthcare benefits that you might provide, and state and local taxes. So when you think about the federal taxes, also the portion of the federal taxes that are normally taken from the employee's gross wages can also be included in the calculations that for this loan, and then that can be used to pay the employee's portion of the federal employment tax. However, the employer's share of payroll taxes should be excluded from those calculations. You can also include housing stipends or allowances that can be considered part of payroll, but you have a limit of if you add up all of those wages and if the wages part and the housing stipends are over $100,000 per employee, for an employee, you have to cap that employee's costs at $100,000. You can also include interest on mortgage obligations if those mortgage obligations were incurred before February 15th of this year. Rent that were under lease agreements before February 15th. So if you have land rent that you might want to pay a portion of that, granted, it's only a portion of it. It's not for the whole year. It's for those 8 weeks that we were talking about. And then also utilities can also be a part of what you use this loan for. The P3 can't cover costs of paying an independent contractor. So if you have someone who does work for you and you give them a 1099 instead of a W-2, you can't include that independent contractor's costs in your calculations. The other thing that you need to consider is that payroll for employees whose principal addresses are not within the United States can't be covered. So depending on the kind of status that you have for certain employees, you may have to keep some of those employees out of the calculation.
I have heard that these loans are forgivable. Are they truly forgivable?
That's what we understand. You have to use it in the right way. So you have to use it for to cover the payroll costs, the mortgage interest, the rent, the utility costs over the 8-week period after you get the loan. So making sure that you're using it for the right thing. And you have to make sure that your employee numbers and compensation levels are maintained. For a loan to be completely forgiven, no more than 25% of the loan can be used for anything other than payroll. Right now, what this loan is saying is that it's 1% interest, and you don't have to start paying it back for, I think, 6 months, and you have 2 years to actually pay back that portion that may not be forgivable. So even if you end up using it for other things other than payroll, and it's within the realm of the loan, while you may have to pay it back, it's a pretty favorable loan term.
Is there anything else that a farmer should know about the P3 program?
A couple of things I would say is that at this point in time, there's nothing that indicates receiving a small business loan will affect any of the payments from the Corona Food Assistance Program, which is the new USDA program that will make direct payments to farmers through FSA, which we don't have all the details out about that yet, but there's nothing that we see in the legislation now that would reduce your payments from if you got an SBA loan or a P3 loan. And if you're looking at maybe doing a P3 loan and an EIDL or economic injury disaster loan, you can do that, but you have to make sure that you're using the money for different things. So you can't use both of them to pay payroll. So you need to think about that.
Thank you for being with us and sharing information about the Paycheck Protection Program.